Sunshine, sunshine. Shit, it's the ones, eh?
Yeah, hey, it be like Dave, what changed? It's more like what hasn't, don't nothing stay the same. It's about the wave making you say, my brain will always make a way and that's on fade. If it's a demon with fate, I'm on my NATO, I'm a billionaire verbatim, natural player, God's favorite, had them crystals in my cradle, I was charged and they been starving, I'm an artist, if we modest, if we not, I'm an artist, they acting hard, but they really not, can't stand to watch, up and off my blast, it got hot, I cannot stop, and the possible has popped, it meant a lot to me, when I could finally see the sun inside of me, that shine, my light could break a blind, how I use my mind, need this TV could see between the lines. Yeah, hey, my light, my light, my light, my light. Yeah, my light, my light, my light, my light. In the sunshine. Yeah. Hey, okay, sunshine living. Niggas still tripping, no, they do not wait. It's magic in a habit, can't imagine me letting life go to waste. To the face, another blunt to start the day, a cup of tea to get me straight. I don't care how long it take, always thought I was out of place until I made a space for me. That's a lesson I won't repeat. This marathon ain't move your feet or get left up in the street. I speak, so instead of hold, I manifest my peace. Yeah, hey, my light, my light, my light, my light. Yeah, my light, my light, my light, my light, in the sunshine.
What up, what up, what up? It's your boy Dave B. You watching Dave B on TV. We're beyond the everyday bullshit that people be consuming on a day-to-day basis. And I'm a little early probably. I think I don't know if the moon got into Cancer yet, but I am going to talk a little bit about the energies we should expect coming up on this new moon in Leo. But for right now, you know what I'm saying, we just coming off the Gemini energy. So I already made a live about Gemini energy. So to switch into Cancer, I put emotion, self-awareness. So, you know, off the rip, so with the moon in Cancer, that's going to make us highly sensitive. It's already a sensitive time. Even the sun, you know, I like to look at the sun and the moon kind of going hand in hand. So the things that the moon goes through, the sun goes through as well, as far as sensitivity and in the, you know, the way they kind of see the world. It's a little different. One is from the outer lens, the other one's from a fixed fire. So it seems very different, but they're similar in the sense of the moon being the internal actions or the internal receptions of what, you know, the internal reflections, I'll say, of what is going on, versus the Leo energy, which is more outright. It's about expression. So in this case, right, with the moon being in Cancer, where it's home at, and the sun being in Leo, where it's home at, this is where either come to a, you know, conclusion that makes them more confident and secure in how they go about expressing themselves, or this can kind of do the opposite. This can make you extremely self-conscious because of how aware you are of those insecurities you might have, or those sensitivities you still that still kind of prevent you from maybe maximizing or going as hard as you can in whatever area of life you're trying to go hard in. Because a lot of times, you know, that's what holds individuals back. It's like when you're aware of the kind of what you might see as awkward, you're aware of certain things that make you feel as though you're not you know, in comparison to the other people you seen do what you do. If you don't feel as though you kind of follow that same regimen, a lot of individuals, especially ones that don't have a strong sense of individuality, could come discouraged based upon them, you know, seeing others do it in a certain way that looks like it's working. And so, you know, they might want to copy that instead of shine their own. Right now, it's all about shining your own light. This is your stage. So you have to rock your stage. You know what I'm saying? If you ever been to a live performance, the best performers are ones that know how to engage the crowd, know how to kind of utilize their space, maximize their presence. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's just one person on the stage, if they can maximize their presence and make it feel like they everywhere, like running over here, running over there, even if they got backup dancers, they fulfill the space. That makes for a more fulfilling performance. So use that as an analogy in your own actual life. What you're doing, your living life is art in motion. It is theater in a sense. You know how they say, oh, we're all playing a character. We all have a solar plexus, a sense of individuality, and our, you know, the point of being here is to express that to the fullest, your individuality. And again, that to be very clear, you know, everyone, that how, you know, the world we're in inverts it, is everyone gets the idea down the line that maybe they should be a celebrity or not. You know what I'm saying? Even people who don't, who could not want to be celebrities, they make it a character trait to be like, oh well, I wouldn't want to be a celebrity, I don't want the fame, I just want the accolades that come with it. But it's still striving for something that you've seen on TV. Those people, again, all those images to basically entice individuals to kind of abandon what they find success in and what they see as value, to adopt what is being perceived to them as value in the world. So it sets you on a path very young. You're watching all these fancy cars, people living a certain lifestyle. It sets you on a path very young to basically lose yourself. And this is how a lot of people kind of either they find themselves later on in life, realize all those things don't matter, or they dead ass set their life chasing these different things, like, you know, wanting to have the fastest car, wanting to have the nicest thing. And ain't nothing wrong with things, but if you want it, make sure you want it because you want it, not because the world or the society made it seem like it was valuable. So, you know, you're chasing it and you're like, man, I'm not successful until I had that Lamborghini. I'm not successful till I'm riding it. I'm not successful till we riding in whatever the brand name is, you know, or till I'm rocking, you know, my whole closet Gucci, you know, Gucci, or my whole closet, you know, whatever the popular brands are. You know, instead of you being a individual and saying, yeah, I like what I like, but, you know, again, you might be your sense of unique style that comes together and puts something that, you know, the world ain't never seen before, that is, you know, just as valuable. You know, what it really is about is, you know, kind of getting back to a space where you can make yourself happy without relying on what society deems as happiness. Because that's kind of the thing. It's like, we all spirits have the power to create our own satisfaction and happiness. But when we are constantly fed marketing and, you know, this image, this look, everything start, you know, you start to, it's like your mind literally becomes into thinking that it desires everything. So your spirit is kind of torn by, you know, you can't walk in your alignment because it feels like, oh well, I kind of do want these things of the world, so I have to kind of put what I might deem as my individuality, which is really your spirit, your spiritual, you know, your space, as far as, you know, your what's basically unique to you, that you brought here from a place that no one else was, you know, your individuality, your individual space, that what your spirit is. So your perspective on things, you know, the things that build your mind, you know, not the mind itself, not what's on your mind, but the things that built your mind, you know, if that makes sense. Because it's like a different layer. I mean, a spirit is things that you can't even explain why you're attracted to it, but that's what you're attracted to. That's what you know, you like to create. So when you do forms of creativity in your own time and space, these things reflect internal things that, again, and if you tap into this enough, you start to formulate things again that the world has never seen, that change, you know, how art is even perceived. These how people become you know, artists. Like when you think of Picasso, you can immediately imagine what, you know, if say the name, you can think of the art style. If I just say Basquiat, you could think of the art style. And because what they created was so unique, that, again, and it wasn't anything that we had seen yet, and it came from a space, you know, that they were at before they was even in a body, you know what I'm saying? So this is where people seem to have these talents and gifts that come from different places. And see, the thing about it is, you have those gifts too, you know. And when I say that, you know, take what I'm saying with that grain of salt to keep you grounded, because that's highly important right now. We're gonna get into that. A lot of the Virgo energy, Saturn and Pisces, it's about grounding a little bit, you know what I'm saying? We was all kind of getting a little bit as to where we were, you know, where we were going, where we was, who we thought we was. We kind of have to hone it in a little bit. And it's not about, you know, self down, but, you know, just creating that equilibrium where we can stay a little more grounded and focused on what's feasible to achieve. You know what I'm saying? Saturn and Pisces can kind of take us for a ride a little bit, because there's so many, the planet of reality is in our dream space. So, you know, again, a lot of delusions that kind of intertwine with reality, where you might even see a few synchronicities, and all of a sudden you start to feel and have this enormous feeling. I got, you know what I'm saying, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm actually this. And that can go too far. You expand, and right now, too much expansion that is, in the sense of optimism, too much expansion in terms of you not actually see the difference. This is kind of getting into the square between or the kind of, I'll say, the beef between like Sagittarius energy, right? And really just mainly talking about Jupiter and Virgo energy, where the thing up there in Virgo, or Sagittarius and Virgo, is like all that expansion is nice, but until we walk that path and until we do that thing, doesn't really count in reality. That's like the question that versus to Sag. Now, again, the natural Sag energy, it needs a little of that optimism and that faith in something, but they can go too far with that in the sense of, overshoot, overassume, overdo it, and end up with way less in return. So it's kind of, they have to learn how to not overhype things, you know what I'm saying? Because again, you end up disappointing people in your actual life, again. And a Sag might be so caught up in what they, how far they're going in their mind, they get everybody else around them excited, and then reality hits and it falls a little surely, a little I said surely because I'm reading early, but it falls a little short than what they had imagined and shot for in the beginning. you know then that's when they become depressed. That's when they become discouraged, and they feel like they let everybody else down around them based upon the reality, not living up to the hype. You know what I'm saying? So right now, and I say all that just explaining Jupiter, just the relationship between that and Virgo is coming into a play. It's coming into a big part, because the next season is Virgo season. So a lot of what's on our mind and that we're trying to work through this Mercury retrograde and things like that, the decisions we made coming from this is going to start to it's going to influence in a way how our Virgo season starts to come around. We got a little time before that happens, but I like to just be aware of, because everything is about progression. So you take advantage of the present to set yourself up, but it's not about trying to get too far ahead of yourself. And because when you do that, you miss out on those little moments in the actual moment, in the present, to do something with your time and your energy to get to that thing you want in the future. Because again, whatever you see in the future, it's not necessarily going to happen just like that. So to be emotionally attached to a certain outcome and expect that's a L on your part. You know what I'm saying? That's going too far on your part. That's you got lost in it, which is understandable, but we have to be aware of when these happen so that we can prevent just more chaos and often necessary. Chaos is fun and stuff like that. It's cool to experience certain things, but not everybody, nobody wants to really keep on experiencing letdowns and disappointments, because that's kind of how you damage it a little bit or traumatize yourself, especially when other people are involved, where you falling short affects certain people that you've built relationships with. I feel like that's an aspect people don't talk about. Like, sometimes it's easy to be in your head and think, hey, if I make a mistake, I just make a mistake. It's just me. But a lot of people, y'all know, are in situations, say you have your parent or something like that, or even if you do have a partner, decisions you make, areas you fall short in, these things affect the people around you. And when relationships go down the line and they take a certain amount of, because it's all about, so, if you don't know your own patterns, and so let's say you're not aware of certain patterns that you keep playing out, and these patterns directly affect the relationships in your life, like your relationship with your kids or your relationship with your partner. You got to be aware and willing. You got to understand you're reaping what you sow later on in life, when these people don't connect, or don't connect with you the same way, or when certain things deteriorate. I'm saying, because things happen, right? Conflict happens and stuff like that. But again, that's another layer of responsibility to still continue to mend those relationships, mend those trusts, and whatever it is that you have to do. But the thing about it, patterns, and that's one thing about relationships and reflecting and all that. It plays out the biggest in, when you really think about it, right? The reason why relationships and learning through them hits harder, because you spend so much time around a certain individual, they pick up patterns, and because they're on the outside looking at it, they pick up faster on your patterns than you do. You live your whole life doing the same damn thing, and it's like hard to see because it's you like, this feels right to me. And then when you end up in a situation fucked up, you like, well, when you recollect on it, you can probably pinpoint a certain things that you did that led to that. But a lot of times you overlook that because you're you. So you give yourself a certain level of grace. And some people are hard on themselves, but even people who are hard on themselves still miss things that play out as patterns that affect those who they're relating to in a negative way. And it's not the same for everybody. But about pattern, karma and stuff like that, like say, because there's a lot of instances where you might mess around and date, right? You date different people, but there's a common theme with every relationship that involves those things that you're either insecure on, things that you're still working through as traumas, all these types of things. Shout out to you, you know what I'm saying? You have a great day too. So all these different things, like, you want to make sure, so when you're in a closer y'all get, right, plays a part, you know what I'm saying, them recognizing certain patterns in you and vice versa. And if you're not willing, like when they talk about the work that goes into a relationship, if you're not willing to go into your and peep these patterns yourself and take accountability for them and kind of be aware, things are going to take a minute for you to adjust, especially things doing and patterns and stuff like that. And that's really where, when we things like love being a choice, like I like to look at love as less of an emotion, it's more of a choice. You know what I'm saying? It's something that you actively do because it's forms of consideration. And that's kind of the thing with love. Love is it's a practice, you know what I'm saying? It's how they say it's actions and things like that, but it's really an awareness and a consideration, a willing devotion to, doing a certain thing. That part of that thing that you got to do is certain internal work for the sake of maintaining that space, because that's really what you're doing. That's even like the idea of Saturn being exalted in the 7th house in Libra. You're not in 7th house, but in Libra, where relationships come down to systems, like I was saying in the other live, it's systems, and whether your system working or it's not. And if it's not, then y'all need to come together, compromise, where then move smoothly, or the other alternative, which is too much friction, and you realize, well, if the system is down and broken, sometimes the decision is to just separate, and that just is because the system can't get right, because there's not enough compromise, there's not enough communication, the things that we can look at Libra energy that's very important for that to work, the conversation, the compromise, the harmony. And hey, what I'm saying, sometimes it'll lead to good things, sometimes it leads to bad things, but that's determined on the two spirits that's really aligning and where their heart is. As again, love being a choice, it kind of opens the door where even through astrology you might like, well, what's my most compatible sign? And you really can't tell, because y'all might have the best energies that go together, but the way y'all system work doesn't allow for your growth to coincide with you, but still maintain a compromise that keeps that relationship alive. So that's where, again, your individuality and what you're trying to relate to is at odds. And again, it's all different roles and stuff like that, different roles that each individual plays. And it goes so deep that in today's time, people wonder why our relationships or dating is the way it is, and it's because people aren't really dating at the core level. You know what I'm saying? People just are lonely and want to have fun. And again, I understand, but it's so much, I don't know, what I'm saying, because it might not be as fulfilling to others to have that type of relationship or whatever, and that's cool, you know what I'm saying? So I'll just fit there and be like, hey, to each their own. Because really it's no, it goes back to what I was saying about systems. However your system work, that's between y'all, or between you and how you like to conduct your relationships. So no matter system it is, if it works for you and works for them, then you've got a relationship. And if it's positive, that's a good one. If it's negative, bad one. But there's no real textbook answer. Even people who are into shit like polygamy and stuff, that if y'all system works for everyone involved, it's a relationship. You know what I'm saying? So also why, again, when you're looking at people, you're in a date, certain core values and where y'all going in life needs to make somewhat of sense. You know, y'all spiritual, you know, we say, oh, it's a spiritual ship, but what does that even mean? Again, like I was saying before, as a spirit, and this is the biggest part, a lot of people don't know themselves to this degree to make good decisions on who they should spend their time with. You know, and a lot of people are either chasing an addiction, running away from things, loneliness, feelings that they don't want to feel. And what happens is when you start running away from things, that's where soul ties develop, because you run right into your reflection, somebody who, you know, sees what you can't see and uses it against you. You know what I'm saying? Because that's kind of how you get into them karmic relationships. It's like someone sees what you can't see and they use it against you. And so you're stuck in that loop, maybe chasing that high, not understanding that they're not even looking at the same thing you're looking at. Y'all looking at different things. And you can always tell, because these be the relationships where, you know, again, you're doing extreme amounts of chasing and extreme amounts of kind of going through those moments where you don't know what's up and what's down and stuff like that. You know, those extreme moments where you can't even get to a place where y'all can see. You know, it's basically, it's like type of shit where it's like it's all in your head. You know, when you really look at it, there is no good moments. It's always you just, you know, hella reaching out and hella doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and everybody around you looking at you like, what are you doing? You know, but again, people be having to live out them cycles to see the patterns that they out, to know, oh, like, oh, that's what I'm doing. And like, you gotta like respect everybody's journey and stuff like that. You can criticize all you want, but at the end of the day, some people just have to go through that. Some people just gotta take the harder route to get to a thing, you know, just because that's how they built, and that's what they're leading to. You know what I'm saying? That's what they like on some other level, you know. But getting back to his energy, so yeah, the moon being in Cancer is bringing out that sensitivity, but it's either going to help you compose a character, right, add the right emotions and comfort to give you confidence and more encouraging energies in your expression, even if it feels real naked at the moment, because it's finna feel like that during a new moon. And that's the thing, you know, how consistent can you be on that character? But it's going to, you know, it low key determines on this. And we know that we're in a waning period, so it's about shedding. And so when you think about things you should be shedding, these should be emotions, insecurities that don't coincide with the character you're trying to portray. You know, and when I say that, be very, you know, aware that I'm not talking about you faking something. I'm talking about you trusting that you know, that deep, you know, your true heart, your true self, and allowing that to shine regardless of it becoming it feeling like it's not the right time, or you know, that you might feel like you still want to get certain organized as far as, you know, whatever it is that you're working on. Because you might do, like, you know, it could be in the lens of business, it could be in the lens of just relating and just going out every day. And even if you got a normal job and you live a normal life and that's what you do, you know, just you going little motions that affect, you know, things going in your favor throughout the day, or things maybe going more out of your favor based upon you not speaking up, you not expressing that self, being confident in what you're now introducing as your true self. Because up until this point, again, we constantly changing. So when we go through these seasons, we got to understand that there's new parts of us that are being introduced but then when we hit external transits like the Leo season, it's to express that. Just like, and think about it like that, the new things that we learn about ourselves every year and every day, these things become, you know, it's kind of cycle of the signs. It's first internal, a new epiphany, and then the internal energy of that, whatever that looks like. So that'll look like fire seasons and air seasons, where it's time to communicate now. I've been thinking about it long and hard, even if I've been feeling about it, now I got to say something about it, you know. And then you know, say something about it, then we reflect on a response, which builds a whole new awareness to then express during the next yang season, yang season, yin season, yang season. And that's why certain in based on your ability to kind of align and co-create with the universe. And what I mean by that is just that's basically, again, choosing to do the thing that you're being called to do instead of avoiding it. You know what I'm saying? Doing different things that take you away from it, aka, you know, very fast food desires and stuff like that, like, you know, a quick fix. You know, you and see those quick fixes, too many of those builds, and you know you're not building the right materials that's going to prepare you for that next step. This is how people miss opportunities, because it's like, oh, you know what I'm saying, I'll just take the quick desire, you know what I'm saying, the quick desire. You keep doing that, it's like equivalent to taking days off work, and at the end of the week your check be looking real strange. You know what I'm saying? Because you done got too comfortable taking days off. Yeah, I'm gonna take the day off, and it felt good, but you forgot the purpose of you even having a job. The purpose of you having that job was not to enjoy your day off. It was to get that so that you can invest into what you was trying to do that in life. So that's not, you know, you're betraying yourself in a sense. But you know, it don't have to be that deep, but it is in a sense the same thing. We can sugarcoat it if we want, but the truth is the truth. You betraying yourself. You said you was trying to do something and you're not doing it. And again, we got to be real with ourselves when shit like that happens. And see, that's what this Virgo energy kind of good for. Mercury being in Virgo, and Mercury being in Virgo, creating this square between, you know, it's kind of creating this very intense square in the background of things between Jupiter, Gemini with Mars. So our passions, the way we get, you know, the things that frustrate, what we are motivated to do, and our ability to do it, the willpower to do it. And it's being challenged also in the sense of Jupiter, our philosophy, what we think is right, what we want to debate about, what we believe in at the moment, and what we talk to ourselves about. Jupiter and Gemini is all about what do you talk to yourself about, and how do you talk to yourself, and what are those conversations about, and do they lead you to make better decisions or not? You know what I'm saying? Not a lot of people know how to talk to themselves, and that's why they end up in kind of, you know, messed up circumstances. But you know, it's being challenged by Virgo. Virgo's looking at these things, our philosophy and what we're passionate about in the first place, and saying, yo, where's the realistic path in this? Where does this work, and where does it fall short? What's the functionality of your passion at the moment? What's the functionality of your faith? That's kind of like what Virgo's doing, is behind all those planets. Like, what's the functionality of this? Like, this work actually? Like, have you actually tested this out in the field? And then Virgo challenge a lot of things based upon what's on our mind and how strong our mind is this time, whether we have the right answers and the right way to do something, and the basically like the tenacity to keep consistent with something. Virgo is going to challenge that through the retrograde too, because it's going to bring kind of past things, show you where you're not as consistent, and this is the reason. And it's going to be like one of those things where you're either you're going to have to adjust, and if you choose, again, like I said, you're going to see those effects as consequences in times like Virgo season, where the sun is now here, where you can't hide away from, you know, you can try to trick your mind, you can fill up your mind with a bunch of different, and, you know, distract your mind. But when it's right in front of you and you see it, you could try to look away, and you could try to act like you blinded by the light. But when it's right in front of you and you see it, you see it. Once you see it, you saw it. And no matter how you try to go about it, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you think something, you could think something, but if you ain't seen it yet, hey, it's still up in the air. You know what I'm saying? Not in Virgo season. Virgo season, you gonna see it. Oh, that shit really don't work. Oh, that's really not gonna be a dream. Oh, that's really, you know, and that's the thing right now, where the spiritual warfare really is. It's like you have to, you know, I'm not gonna say the purpose is to protect your dream. It's more so about, like I said before, you know, we have to dreams and things that we want to escape to, as things that, okay, no longer is something I have to escape to. It now becomes the reality I am able to live in, for good or, you know, for better or for worse, or for good or bad, you know what I'm saying? Where I, you know, because that's the issue right now. Coming off that Pisces, I feel like the Saturn in Pisces is shaking off that last little bit of the age of Pisces mentalities, where it was about, and think about it, Saturn is completing a cycle in Pisces, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know, it's about to hit Aries, where there's a rebirth, and there's a, you know, it's a fresh slate. Springtime on springtime Saturn, which looked like, you know, again, a blank slate to build on. But before we get to that though, right here in Pisces, it's like we have to really shed away just aspects that we are looking at reality that just don't coincide with what is actually feasible. You know, like, yeah, we have all these big things that we want to do and accomplish. That's great. But, you know, and again, when I say, is it feasible? It's not to say you looking in the mirror and say, well, I don't think so. Remember, all possibilities, that's supposed to be also on our mind too. All possibilities, which means the power is in the responsibility is on you to make it. If you want to be in a certain position, you gonna have to do the work for it. And when Saturn gets into Aries, time where it's like you can't even fight the funk though. Like, if you're not ready for war, you're not ready. You know what I'm saying? So if something goes down where it's that time and you're not ready because you didn't put in the work, it's not going to wait for you. Time waits for no man. So it's just not going to wait for you. And the amount of thinking and feeling is going to affect what you missed out on based upon you not putting in the work and being prepared. So Saturn and Pisces is really opposite. The Mercury and Virgo energy is really throwing you a bone and saying, look, you can root it, like, but ask yourself, is my movement, the way I'm moving right now, is that going to equate to me reaching that position? Is the way I'm moving right now going to get me that goal? If not, I need to reassess some things and switch up my patterns. I need to go about it different. I need to put in work in a different kind of way that's more effective, more realistic, more, again, consistent, and pushing through that. You know what I'm saying? Because we have to be real with ourselves. Like, Virgo's not going to let us not be real with ourselves. It's just not. You could talk all the game you want, that, and that's really what the argument between energy and Virgo and Jupiter, Mars, and Gemini having. Like, you know, you was talking all that game and shit. Now it's time to look at the results, and I don't really see enough. I don't really see that faith system, that belief system, garnering you those benefits that you was talking about. I don't really see that shit you was talking about, you know, actually like look like willpower to get to where you going. Like, I don't see the passion behind it. Like, you know, and again, even that don't mean, oh, because that's what's gonna happen too, a lot of passionate communication. But right now, you'll even find that the more passionate you are in communication, it don't really, if anything, kind of make things more difficult, because there's not enough fire in the sky to respond to passion right now. Yeah, the sun is in Leo, but that's the thing. You got to understand that, yeah, it's center stage, but we got to understand the stage that's going on right now. In the world stage, based upon the energetic influences, it's more grounded. It's more like, how real can you get with what you trying to do? Like, how real can you root yourself in your actual power? You know what I'm saying? How real can you be with that passion in order to bring life in a way that only an earth sign knows how? Based upon, again, like, if you were to grow a flower, you know what I'm saying, giving that's like planting a seed and really growing it in real life. Like, earth signs understand that level of sensitivity when it comes to crafting something, and how diligent you got to be, and how deliberate, you know what I'm saying, and how patient, and how precise, and how practiced, and, you know, again, a routine, you know what I'm saying. And it's, again, not about perfection, but it's about maintenance and tending to something to craft it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd say Virgo is really about crafting, which, if you really think about the principle of crafting, that kind of helps bring, because to craft something, it take, you know, you can't just craft something in one day. You know what I'm saying? Something that's well crafted, it took a lot of time. It took a lot of, you know, trying different aspects out and seeing what worked, what didn't work. Shout out to Equilibria. You know what I'm saying? It took a lot to make that work. You know, and you know, to call yourself a craftsman or woman, that means that you are diligent with whatever it is that you do. You're so diligent that it, you know, it pays off in the tiny details. And that has so much value, especially now. And remember, this energy too, Mercury in Virgo, it's trining Uranus and Taurus, which is that gold mine for real. Gift of uniqueness. Think about it, the gift to craft something unique, as far as a, you know, so you said the earth sign is in Aquarius right now, right? Exactly. Which that's a good point too. talk gonna get me back on that community word. But which plays a huge part really. But back to what I was saying, the Mercury trine and that Uranus is like we're kind of got the gift to know how to think about our uniqueness in a way where we could benefit it. You know what I'm saying? We could benefit ourselves by coming up with a more well-crafted lifestyle that matches where we want to be as far as a position in the world. And speaking of position, it's basically 0 degrees, so it's finna touch it, make its way into the Capricorn. So it's not there yet, but it's still, you know, that still matters, because that's kind of what we're all doing, transforming ourselves to proper position so that when it goes back forward, boom, during Aquarius, we have some leverage in that position, aka associates, individuals around us to help us build a dream, and vice versa. You know, a shared idea, community. With the earth sign being in Aquarius right now, see, the earth sign represents where we grow. You know what I'm saying? That's energy where we grow. So that's going to always be opposite of the sun. So where the sun is what we're looking at and what we want to be. We strive to be Leo energy right now. So we looking at Leo and trying to express ourselves the best way like Leo. But how we grow during this time is through understanding Aquarius, which is uniqueness. So the confidence to be ourselves to the fullest degree. Really what's going to bring about the most growth. Now, growth don't mean good all the times. Well, it means good in the long run, but it feels bad sometimes. It feels like hurt, growing pains and shit like that, because you have to stretch beyond what you capable but beyond what you thought was possible. So in that stretch, in that process of you know, making it out, breaking through the ground, breaking through the soil, that's where we at right now before we get into this full moon. And I think I don't know what deacon we in. I think we still in the first. Nah, we should kind of low key be in the second deacon by now. So this is like energies of this is Leo in the second deacon. So of energies of Sagittarius or Jupiterian influences, where it's like, you know, again, like what I was just saying, expanding. You know, this character is more demanding than what we're used to, because this is a role or character that is more, it's deep. In order to portray this character properly on stage, I have to dig deeper into who I am to bring light to this character. Like if you're an actor, you know what I'm saying, because I'm using that as an analogy right now. But that's what we, you know, but think about it, even in your own life right now, it's gonna take a little bit, it's gonna take a lot more of you to dig a lot deeper. I keep wanting to say a little, but it's really a lot. Like dig a lot deeper than what you might be used to in order to bring up this a lot, you know what I'm saying, and be yourself. And again, let's make that realistic, because you might not be doing something like, you know, making music, and or even if you do something creative, but it doesn't always have to do something on the world stage. You know what I'm saying? It don't have to always have to do with something like, you know, oh, I gotta dig so deep because my life is so, you know, everybody kind of got motion picture syndrome based upon just, you know, TikTok shit. Everybody TikTokified and YouTubeified and shit. And it ain't nothing, again, like I said, ain't nothing wrong with that. But the thing is, like, in your actual everyday life, you know, conversations you know you need to have, and the moments in which you know you need to show up, wherever that be, whether that's in the home, whether that's behind closed doors, whether that's at work, whether that's, you know, say all these different areas of life that we have a responsibility as a, you know, spirit in human form to engage with life. So it's not always about, you know, things you have to do to unlock your inner creativity to be or be a celebrity, or like, oh, my life is gonna change so drastically because this is my moment to you know, emerge into the world, and now I'm world, and now I went viral and all. It can be that, but my thing is, like, too, on an everyday scale, there's so many moments that we like overlook based upon you know, cookie cutter astrology and how they tell things, like, you know, where every astrology post you see is, you know, ooh, Virgos, y'all gonna be rich this week, this the hope and this all the this. It's like, nah, man, like, nah, it's not always about that. Sometimes it be, you know, other things that you don't even realize. It could be a simple trip to the to the garage, you know, to the what's the place, the dealership, because you need an oil change or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But it's a certain way you engaged with life at that time you would normally do. You grew in a way where, you might have been scared to, talk about a certain thing, and but this was your moment and you did it, you know what I'm saying? And that was a small victory for you, but maybe it affected somebody who was with you, like your child was with you and they seen you in a light, and y'all connection now grew better, you and your child. Different things like that. Like, there's just so many different ways that trickle down. I just wanted to make that little point. But get astrology and shit like that. So, like I was saying before, moon in Cancer, sun in Leo, just emotional self-awareness. So try not to be too self-conscious about how you're acting and how you're moving. Just be true to you and leave that for everyone else. You just need to act accordingly. Act as you. And if you act as you, and when I say that too, being aware of, like I was saying before, that doesn't mean to bypass certain self-awareness about things that you shouldn't just do because it feels right. This is also you actively shedding things that you do and ways that you act based upon insecurity, ways that you act based upon the wrong reaction, or things that you act on based upon being too emotionally aroused. Because that's the thing right now. Moon in Cancer, again, there's so much sensitivity. Right now it's double sensitivity because you got the sun and moon where they at. So this is a lot of sensitivity. So, but how we understand sensitivity, when we're sensitive to something, we have a choice to either, be present or run away from it, to protect ourselves from it. When you lean into sensitivity, that becomes vulnerability. When you run away from it, that becomes ego. When you're running away from that sensitivity, you're trying to shield it and protect it in a way. So you behave and act in a way that's not necessarily natural, right? Versus when you lean into sensitivity, that takes you being honest and laying everything out on it. That takes you, but it's kind of breeding grounds for connection, because that's you. It's like, instead of leading with ego and running away from it, you're engaging with it. You know what I'm saying? So you said he said it's from a song. That's cool. But he said that's cool. I don't know what song that is. Jid for, oh, okay, I see you saying Jid. That's what's up. But it comes to understanding that back and forth, right? So that's kind of what we're all being challenged to do, or basically just see. Because again, what you do is your choice. Because some people situation where it makes sense to kind of, again, when you're running away from stuff, you just need to be aware that that's what you're doing. So, but you might be in a situation where that is the response that you take, and now you have to deal with the consequences, or now you have to deal with the effects of doing that. And so, just being aware is how you'll be able to, you know what I'm saying? That's how you'll be able to kind of move and operate without getting too caught up in the wave. You'll be able to understand, oh, that's why I did that. And now I can either course correct. So go back and, like I said before, course correct and do what you need to do. Or that'll be you saying, well, I'm going in this direction and I'm just going to choose to continue to go until that high runs out, basically. Because when you going off ego, sometimes you just feel like you got to keep going in that ego. You feel yourself and you're trying to get yourself to a space. Because there's like a purpose for ego too. Ego be taking you to a certain space sometimes. And that space even leads to other things falling apart in your life. Like, for instance, like, you ever been talking shit and you wilding, but it's like somebody might have needed to hear it, or you might needed the self-talk just to get you to that vibration to help you get through something. Like, you was just like, I'm gonna talk shit about this until I do it, and you did that, and it put you in a certain space to get something done. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what the ego's purpose is. Just like a athlete would, hype themselves up in whatever kind of way they can, and not really, that's like a form of running away from the vulnerability, because that's not the time and place for vulnerability in the boxing ring. You know what I'm saying? You need to be vulnerable after the boxing ring, when, you know what I'm saying, when you with your family and stuff like that, and they ask you how it went. not put up the ego like, yeah, you got your ass beat. You like, oh, I'll put up a good fight and I'm good. I ain't sad about it. Nah, I don't care. No, that's when you use vulnerability. Like, nah, like I'm fucked up. Like, you talking to your significant other. I'm fucked up, man. They got me. They did this. I'm like, and then that's when y'all connect, because then they could build you back up. And you know what I'm saying? That's how you got that little, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm talking about. That little, that be that relationship shit. You know what I'm saying? That be that shit. And then vice versa, when they need you and shit. But vision, you said awareness is key. Yeah, awareness is everything for real. It's everything other than nothing. You know what I'm saying? So if you're aware of it, it's in your space, it's able to be utilized and stuff. So yeah, that's how it works. But yeah, so the moon in Cancer is also going to be sextiling Taurus energies with Uranus. So the opportunity to connect to your uniqueness. Again, this is going to be you getting more comfortable with uniqueness and you being more comfortable with yourself and what you value, regardless of everybody else or whatever everybody else thinks. Also going to sextile in Virgo energy. So it's going to be sextile in Mercury. That's the opportunity for your mind and heart to be on the same page. So this has potential to really put you in a very strong space for Leo, or for the Leo new moon. And think about it in the sense of, a really good prep before you go on stage. Like if you was about to go on stage and stuff like that, this is you listening to your favorite songs, you putting yourself in the right space. I'm talking about with the boxing example, you hyping yourself up, getting you to the right emotional state to go ahead and play that role. And one of the things I like about the when I say play that role in that analogy is because, again, just like an actor, when the movie or that is done, the scene is done, you can release that. You know what I'm saying? So again, same thing in term ego being how you want to be seen. So it's a character. It's something that you're utilizing. When it's done, let it be done. If it's time to grow out of it and get into something else, do that. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you got to be. You got to go ahead and, as you're expressing yourself, remember, sometimes, we go through different parts of our lives. Who you are is always who you are. But, at a certain point, it's time to head that. You know what I'm saying? Again, when ego go too far, it becomes something that's more toxic. When you trying to maintain a space for too long, you become demonic, you become obsessive, you become not true to you. Life is demanding that you change, and you keep on doing the same thing over and over again. And again, you start to see where it's no longer working, but because you're still too caught up in that high, you chasing something, you got to chill. That's when it's time to shed that. That's when it's time to let go of that. And knowing when to do that is one of the most powerful things. That's part of that discernment, and developing that sense of discernment and knowing, okay, yeah, nah, I don't need to do that no more. Or moderation, I could say too. Because even when we think about, that's getting into Venus and stuff. But all that aside, um, when you think about this energy. So yeah, the moon is going to be sextiling that, sextiling Mercury. So we have the opportunity for our mind to match our heart, in a sense. But and that's good too, for a little self-talk, self-evaluation, even self-care to a degree, because sometimes you might just need to care for yourself and give it the Virgo touch. So very intimate details, and getting back on track with your mind and how you want to go. You know what I'm saying? So that's one aspect of that. The moon in Cancer also is, let me see, trying Saturn and Pisces retrograde. So that's the gift also to be very aware of, again, where that dream is, and how comfortable you really are with it. And the thing about it is too, is like, it's the gift to be emotionally intelligent about it. So when you're looking and assessing these different things that were once dreams, you could take apart what was good and what was productive. But it might be time to initiate a new way to feel about what was once reality, so that you could either let it go. Because remember, during the waning period, we're shedding. So there's a lot of things we're shedding on an emotional level to be in the right clear space to get on that stage and do what we need to do to be our true self at this time. That's new. You know, there's a lot of things that we were feeling a way about earlier that we just gotta kind of let go. You know, we have to shed. We have to allow those things to be, change how we feel and deal with those emotions. So that's insecurity. It's all about dealing with it. Once you deal with it, okay, now I can grow from it. It can become something that's no longer hindering me, no longer creating no, whatever you want to refer it to. So when it goes to um the moon in Cancer, um what it's gonna be squaring uh Joel, you was wild right now. You gotta chill out. I don't care about shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about Schoolboy Q like that, not on a Dave B stream. But you know what I'm saying? Dave Beyond got some intelligent music videos. But for the most part, when we talk about the moon squaring Chiron, so when it comes to the, you know, that's again healing through a bit of friction. You know, we're learning how to feel through kind of things that might have bruised how we see ourselves or bruised our individuality at one point, things that used to define ourselves, things that used to define us on a one-on-one level. We're needing to heal through that, but it's going to take a little bit of friction, you know what I'm saying? So it's like again, you know, on both levels now, because it's the both cardinal energies, but one is initiating how you see it and feel about it. The other one is how you feel and deal with those emotions. So right now is a good time to kind of work through a lot of pain, either on an emotional level, internal pain, things, you know, things that we've been kind of on a journey to do, that we're, you know, that we've been motivated to do and align with our individuality. Because the North Node being there, we're constantly being put in situations where either, you know, either you're setting boundaries or you're just taking that risk, going for what you know you're aligned with, you're on a spiritual level. And again, that doesn't have to be something grandiose. That could just be in your common, just day to day, you living life for you and you doing things that are maybe very normal, but as an individual, you know, these are new experiences that you're getting into that are helping you, again, spiritually, expanding you spiritually. So they come in those forms of things being scary, things being very unsure and not knowing how it's going to play out. But you take the skin, you see what happens. You know, you come up with the right thoughts and feelings on the go, and you either, you know, make it or you fall short. And when you fall short, y'all know, you just like, oh, to collect and build myself up again. The moon is also square in the south, so you know we're also healing, or we're also um yeah, healing in a sense from things that we were once comfortable from. You know what I'm saying? Things that might have hurt to let go as far as going into a new emotional space. So the South Node is kind of, you know, it's that friction, because it might be bittersweet. Just knowing that, you know, again, how you saw that dream at one point is no longer that same way. And you're going to have to now, you know, you don't have to let go of how you once felt about that dream and that goal. And it doesn't have to be the end of the world, but you know, it's no longer the way you thought it was. And the faster you come to that realization, the better you'll be. Because it's happening, that, you know, it's inevitable. It's not something you can avoid. The more you try to avoid it, the less energy you're going to put into the world to develop a new awareness about what your dream is in reality. Because it's like, if you choose to kind of still cling to old stuff, it's like you're not going to even be expressing things to give awareness, and you're not going to be challenging yourself to expand your awareness on what your dream actually is. You just going to be clinging to what you want it to be, a delusion, and you get further into that delusion, still building things that are going to end up being obsolete. So it's going to like the equivalent of, damn, I wasted my time, because now what I built, yeah, it's a masterpiece to me and I like how it looked, but obsolete in functionality. So Saturn looks at that as a waste. Saturn's, well, you can make it look all how fancy you want, but if it don't function and do the system right, it's worthless. So Saturn doesn't reward flattery, or doesn't reward grand gestures. So that's why you even get energies of, like, you know, between Saturn and Sagittarius and stuff like that. I was gonna make a like how Jupiter and Saturn don't really get along all the time, because they have completely different ideologies and ways of going about life. You know, Jupiter is more of the, you know, the grand and in the imaginable, the unimaginable as well. Saturn is, you know, we can't do nothing with anything that doesn't function and do the system. So that, you know what I'm saying, y'all can see how that kind of creates conflict on so many different levels. So, you know, we have to keep that in mind though, with Saturn in a Jupiterian sign. Like, that's where we mess up with Saturn and Pisces. All these different things that we're adding to it, but the functionality still fails. You know what I'm saying? So again, retrograde and being opposed a Mercury retrograde. So, you know, it's a lot of new ways that we can think about it, but we have to be willing to let go of what once felt good, what once felt like it was comfortable or home. Yeah. Moon also is going to be sextile in Lilith. So again, we still gonna kind of have that other voice on the other end, kind of just again whispering certain things that make us question on whether or not this is what we need to, you know, whether or not we're gonna do well, whether or not we're gonna perform well, whether or not it's gonna all work out. So yeah, with Lilith and Virgo, you gotta kind of like keep that shit on the, you know, keep that keep that on the low. You're gonna have to kind of keep that in control. That's what I want to say. Shout out to Pedro. He said, "What's up, fam? Can't listen now because I'm too tired, but good to see you today. Take care. You're a real one." Hey, man, much love, bro. Appreciate you. You know, you coming out. I wonder if you coming off the night shift like me, man. I was like, man, I kind of want to knock out, but I kind of got some things to do, man. Shit. And that's the thing right now. Like, it's time to like I said, that character and stuff like that. What I was saying about refinement and Virgo. That's a real thing right now. He said, how do you think Lilith would affect a Libra sun right now? So Lilith Lilith is kind of dancing between Libra and Virgo, if I'm not mistaken. So right now it's conjuncting, or it's in close proximity. So it would affect the Libra sun by, when it comes to how you acting, you're like not really sure if you're gonna embarrass yourself. And it might be even hard to kind of, you know, it might be kind of like a daily back and forth you go with whether or not you should act on something, or even on a smaller scale, like whether you should do certain things and act a certain way. And you might be kind of, you know, try not to let it keep you stuck. You know, you got to understand, you got to confront Lilith. Lilith can work with you, but you have to confront Lilith, because it's you feeling embarrassed about something that didn't happen. So it's lying to you, but it's just lying to you because once you understand the lie and you prove it wrong, you know, then it becomes your you know, you can use it. Basically, you can take advantage of it. You can take it, how they say, use it as a bitch, you know what I'm saying? Because now you're not afraid, and the things that you know make you feel like you're gonna be embarrassed, if you just go out and do it, you actually expand your awareness way further than where your fear is. See, that's powerful in the sense of like being able to, now it's almost like you kind of like, it's almost, because you got to look at fear as like a limitation. You know, we stop ourselves short because of fear. We don't know what's gonna happen, so we be like, like let me pass that. So you limit yourself. But what Lilith shows you is, once you confront Lilith and you go further, your awareness you've experienced already going through the fall. So your awareness being further than your fear, you're fearless now. You're limitless. And so that becomes your power, because Lilith now can play out the energy of making you feel like a badass. Like, oh man, like I'm harder than my biggest fear. Like I could do anything now. And that kind of gives you more power to go even further. So that's really, you know, that's a little trick for Lilith. Even with Lilith and Virgo right now, we got to remember that. We got to remember everything we are afraid to just power through. That be the thing we got to start with. That be the very first thing we do. It's like, you know, you afraid to like when you jump into a pool, you know what I'm saying, when you first, like, say you just got to the pool and, you know, everybody dipping their toe in, oh, it's cold, it's cold. If you just jump in, hey, the worst is over now. And so now you doing all kinds of backflips and they still on the steps clinging to the little rail. So, you know, that's it. That's what's going on right now. He said, right, and it's dang near directly opposing Saturn. Right. And so, you know, that's the thing right now. That's why when it comes to our dreams, you could be so afraid to just fix things. And we cannot be too afraid to just fix that shit. You know what I'm saying? Right, new management. You cannot be afraid to just fix that shit right now, because everybody dream right now gonna start looking real fucked up a little bit. Even if it was going well, you like, wait a minute, what I say I was finna do, why I do this? And the thing is, you got it right. You just gotta be not afraid to fix things that still need improvement. You gotta be willing to do that. And once you do that, then it's like, bam, oh, you gonna see, you gonna be like, damn, I fixed this and it really did. Because before this, we gotta remember, before this energy, we had a plan and we was kind of seeing certain things working, but we just got confronted with, wait, but what if this? But what if that? All that Virgo energy is like, what if this? What if that? Got us thinking like, oh, looking at it again. And then we got so many now at this point, right? Mercury going retrograde. We got a certain amount of retrogrades that kind of make it feel like a overall retrograde time. When we got like 1 or 2 retrogrades, it don't really feel like a retrograde time. It's like, oh no, we still moving, we still at normal speed. But then it be times where it's like, when you get like 3, 4, 5 planets retrograde, then it's like, wait a minute, like, I think I need to reassess this. I need to chill out with this, or just spend a little more time trying to figure this out. And so that's kind of what's going on right now, because we got Saturn, Uranus, Mercury, and I think Pluto. So we got like four that I could think of off rip. I don't know if Uranus is retrograde, but I feel like it is. So that's all the outer planets and Saturn. So that's like, yeah, this is like major life changes and adjusting ourselves in ways to kind of like, again, because there's a purpose behind why we're on stage right now, and that's to set the tone. Like we try, or not, I don't say set the tone. The tone has already been set, but it's like, this is the time where we have to fully embody what it is we said we was gonna be back in preseason. Like we have to fully embody that, and to do that, it takes you jumping in that vessel, that idea, and kind of going clumsy energy. You know what I'm saying? Like how a baby, like what a baby deer be, and you like got kind of like grow into your legs in a sense. You know what I'm saying? He said, exactly, I got a lot of Virgo, and that's what I needed to hear about fixing a dream, so it makes sense and right. Virgo and Pisces, man, yo, we be so similar, high key, because it be like we be worried as fuck, and then the whole time we just be afraid to just do the thing on the other end of that. So like with Virgo energy, especially like being opposite Saturn currently, but just in general, like Virgo, when it comes to the way they criticize or the way they might doubt something or question something, like, and Virgos really notice, like it just, you can fix it though, but what they don't know is to fix it internally. They want to go fix it physically. And then for Pisces, it'd be like, you know, the things that make us so nervous, and it's like, you can go fix it, but we be wanting to fix it internally. We got to go fix it externally. We got to go out and have a conversation or do something physically. So we both be like, oh, we want to fix it, but we want to fix it our way. So Virgo would do it external. Let me criticize or try to do this and control this and blah, blah, blah. But it'd be like, damn, I just needed to fix how I felt about it maybe. And if I fixed how I felt about it, that could lead to better actions to deal with it, and certain don't need to be so worried about. Some things I can kind of let go of and faith in. That's really what faith would be. Faith would be Virgo fixing it internally and being like, oh, like I can just believe this, and even if it doesn't work, yeah, I can confront that. I can handle that, you know. Versus a Pisces. Pisces would be, well, I believe it'll work, but it's like, no, go check that shit. Go get up, go to it, do it, spend time on it, spend consistency on it, physically fit. And then that be that, you know, that little thought, little mental that we be going through and shit. But yeah. So yeah, with Cancer and shit, Cancer, what else is Cancer gonna touch? We talked about the North Node, and that's the thing too, like we're learning how to feel about our spiritual path in a sense. You know, how do we could get comfortable with it? And the thing is, we can't until we just, you know, we just have to commit to do it. You know what I'm saying? You know, so commit to do it, and don't let your insecurities kind of keep you from it. What else? What else? Cancer. I think that's it, because we hit Virgo. Yeah, we hit Pisces, Saturn. I can kind of talk about Neptune. Well, that kind of is kind of redundant. We already was talking about dreams and feeling comfortable with them. That's kind of what Moon Trine and Neptune is. So it's like getting comfortable with those dreams, and Neptune is in retrograde itself too. So we're also comparing and contrasting past dreams that we had. And like I said, it might just be a little bittersweet moment of having to realize where the way we once saw that dream has to be adjusted. And again, if we've been on path, if we've been in alignment, we've already been making adjustments. This is just the emotional clarity that also comes with it, that the kind of confirmation where it's like, oh, I knew I felt something was off. I see it now, and then again, I see that becomes Leo Moon, and we can now stand grounded in something that we know gonna push that. Shout out to Mutable Guy. What's up, bruh? So, he said you gotta clip some of these games just into shorts. Right. I was just looking at the time. Like, I'm gonna click that. Right. I need a whole marketing for real. That's what I'm trying. That's what we working towards, is getting a whole team together or something. Cause, But anyway, yeah. So that's how it goes right now. So, what was I just saying? Right now, I think I was talking about Neptune right now. So getting comfortable with that, that's a gift. Neptune being in retrograde. So yeah, it's just a form of, that's what it is with Cancer. It's like a form of just kind of learning how to just be okay with not being okay. And once you learn how to feel that, and you know how to maneuver when you feel comfortable, where you're not just reacting, now you actually making decisions based upon kind of sitting back and observing and thinking things through a little bit, then you're not controlled by other things, and you're leading your life now. You're not controlled by this desire or led by this fear, or vice versa, led by this desire and running away from that fear. You're making steps and movements, and you want to move based upon where you want to go. And that's what it's all about for real. You know what I'm saying? It's all about taking that power back inside, taking that power back for yourself, and doing, going where you need to go, where God intended you to go, letting God work through you to affect what you need to affect, and like that, so on and so forth. Yeah, y'all have a beautiful day. Like I said, we early, so I don't even think the moon gets into Cancer until later on. But y'all have a beautiful day. Y'all get right, get into alignment, shed what y'all need to shed, and let's get it. Much love. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.